Dinosaurs ruled the earth for over 165 million years. However, there were many animals that lived before, during, and after that were just as formidable. We've picked 72 that dominate the others. In this show, we will talk about these dangerous animals, including when they lived, what they ate, their weaponry, and how humans would fare if these creatures were still alive. From the largest venomous animal of all time, to birds that could take out animals 30 times their weight, to a pterosaur that could kill a T-Rex, this is 72 Dangerous Animals, Prehistory. Megalodon grew up to 60 feet long. However, the average size of Megalodon was only around 45 feet. Megalodon weighed anywhere from 100,000 to 200,000 pounds at the absolute maximum. It lived 20 to 2.6 million years ago in the warm oceans around the world.
Our first finalist, the largest shark of all time, makes its comeback. With a 12-foot wide mouth full of 276 teeth that were up to 7 inches long, this was one serious macro predator. Megalodon had the strongest bite force of any animal ever, maxing out at over 182,000 newtons. Male megalodons averaged around 40 feet long and females 50. The absolute maximum size estimate is around 60 feet long. Megalodon fed on anything it wanted to, including whales, dolphins, turtles, and fish. Megalodon could easily chomp you in half. However, it is much more likely it would swallow you whole due to how small you would be compared to it. This would result in you slowly digesting in its stomach. Megalodon takes first place for now. Incoming, our frenemy, the whale-eating whale. Leviathan reached a maximum length of 60 feet long and weighed up to 125,000 pounds. It lived 9.9 to 5 million years ago in South America, Africa, and Australia. Leviathan had lots of adaptations to make it one of the most formidable predators of all time. At up to 60 feet long, Leviathan was the second largest macroraptorial sperm whale, after the modern sperm whale, which used to reach lengths of over 80 feet before whaling. Leviathan preyed on large whales and sharks. Its teeth were the largest of any animal, excluding tusks, at up to 15 inches long. While modern sperm whales had teeth only on their bottom jaw, Leviathan had teeth on its top jaw as well, providing it with the largest bite of any tetrapod. Its bite force was over 145,000 newtons. Leviathan could use its head as a battering ram to cause massive internal damage to competition and prey. Coupled with a sonic blast of 230 decibels, this would have allowed it to kill even the largest of megalodons. Leviathan was also capable of using its muscular tail to deliver a fatal blow. Leviathan's sonar was so powerful that if it was directed at you, your head would explode. Additionally, Leviathan was most likely social, living in pods of up to 20 individuals. This would have ensured nothing would target its calves. There are so many ways Leviathan could kill a person, or a megalodon for that matter. It takes first, pushing Meg to second. Up next, the largest venomous animal of all time. Megalania prisca, also known as Varanus priscus, grew up to 23 feet long and at the absolute maximum weighed up to 4,200 pounds. It lived in Australia 2.5 million years ago to 11,000 years ago. However, it's possible this lizard may still be alive and well. Varanus priscus, better known as Megalania, was the world's largest terrestrial lizard of all time. It was also extremely venomous. Its venom was a hemotoxin, meaning it targeted the blood of its victims, destroying red blood cells, causing organ failure and collapse, and preventing blood from clotting, as well as causing muscle paralysis. This type of venom is shared by vipers and brown recluse spiders, as well as many other animals. If you survive a bite from a hemotoxic animal, there will be extreme necrosis, occasionally resulting in the loss of a limb. Gaboon vipers have a hemotoxin so strong that it rots your skin, muscles, and all other tissues until all that is left is bone. If you want, you could Google images of gaboon viper bites, but I highly recommend against it if you get nauseous easily. Hemotoxic venom in the victim's body is extremely painful for the animal. Megalania was massive, so it injected a lot of venom with its bite. When its prey was bitten, it would quickly bleed to death from the gaping wound that couldn't heal, and the prey would grow weaker and weaker until it either died from the effects of the venom or Megalania finished it off. Megalania could also slap its enemies with its thick muscular tail, resulting in the defendant's bones being shattered. While the rest of the world was dominated by mammals, Australia was ruled by this monstrous monitor. Other carnivores couldn't compete with Megalania, so they avoided it at all costs to not become a meal. Not even a marsupial lion or the crocodile quincana could win a fight against Megalania. Humans coexisted with Megalania and occasionally fell victim to this lizard's death grip. Megalania's skin was so thick and tough that it was likely bulletproof, and most attempts to kill it with our weapons would just piss it off more. Ancient humans could try all they liked with their spears, clubs, and axes, but Megalania wasn't going down easily. It would kill the humans one by one until there were no more immediate threats to its survival. Megalania was mostly an ambush predator, waiting at watering holes and game trails to pounce. But if prey escaped its initial attack, it could run it down long distance at speeds of 30 miles per hour. It just needed to deliver its venomous bite, and then it would have been game over for its prey. Once bitten, the prey couldn't have gone far. It would be dead within minutes. Its sense of smell was so great that it would have been able to detect prey from up to 7 miles away. It also had outstanding vision. While standing on its hind legs, it was up to 10 feet tall. It stood tall enough on all fours to lunge and grab a human by the head. The only weapon humans had to defend themselves from this beast was fire, and it worked. It's believed that humans caused the extinction of Megalania around 11,000 years ago, although there are rumors that it still lives. Megalania lived alongside people for thousands of years and preyed on them whenever it got the chance. This confirmed diet of humans, along with the brutal combination of killer features, puts it at number 1 for now. Additional reasons for this placement are that Leviathan, being an intelligent whale, probably would not have attacked humans unless provoked. Modern sperm whales and orcas don't attack divers, so most likely Leviathan wouldn't have either. As for Megalodon, it would have just swallowed you whole. Getting attacked by Megalania would be an extremely brutal and excruciatingly painful way to die. Leviathan moves to second place and Megalodon to third. Up next, the whale that resembled an eel. Basilosaurus grew up to 70 feet long and weighed 132,000 pounds. It lived 41 to 34 million years ago in North America and Africa. This monstrous whale fed on smaller whales and sharks, which it would tear apart using a combination of canine teeth and molars. It also fed on prehistoric elephants that ventured into the water. It targeted the skulls of its prey to crush them and kill the prey quickly. Basilosaurus was capable of chewing its prey. It had a bite force of up to 20,000 newtons. Basilosaurus had a relatively small brain compared to its body size, which hints that it was incapable of forming pods. Additionally, it lacked a melon, meaning it couldn't echolocate. While Basilosaurus was the apex predator of its time, it is no match for our other three human killers. It has a lot of disadvantages that results in it not being as deadly. It takes 4th place for now. Up next, the world's largest snake. Titanoboa grew up to 50 feet long or possibly even larger and weighed up to 2,500 pounds. However, it was hypothesized it could reach over 4,000. It lived 60 to 58 million years ago in Colombia. One thing that made Titanoboa so dangerous was that it would eat literally any animal it wanted to. It was a generalist hunter, so nothing was off limits. Titanoboa preyed on crocodiles, fish, turtles, birds, and mammals. It could sit at the river bottom and wait for prey to come to it. It would then snatch the animal from the surface. Titanoboa could kill its prey either by cutting off blood flow to its brain or by drowning it. Its constriction force and bite force were both up to 1,820 newtons. Titanoboa had 100 backwards curving teeth that were up to 3 inches long. Titanoboa's stomach acid was so strong it could dissolve bones and turtle shells. It may have been slow moving on land, but it could strike at prey in 70 milliseconds. In the water, Titanoboa would have been much faster, swimming at 12 miles per hour. While this doesn't seem too fast, humans max out at about 4 miles per hour for athletes and 2 for everyone else. Titanoboa could hold its breath for an hour while it was underwater. This monster of a snake could snatch a person and begin to constrict them before they even knew what happened. After a few seconds within Titanoboa's coils, you would be dead from ischemia. Then, Titanoboa would swallow you whole. Titanoboa is no match for Megalania, Leviathan, Megalodon, or Basilosaurus. It takes 5th place. Incoming, a large mosasaur. Hainosaurus grew 40 feet long and weighed up to 30,000 pounds. It lived 85 to 66 million years ago in Europe's oceans. Hainosaurus had blade-like teeth that it used to kill turtles, plesiosaurs, pterosaurs, cephalopods, sharks, fish, and smaller mosasaurs. It had a very sturdy neck thanks to its powerful pectoral muscles. This strong neck would help with ramming. Hainosaurus is hypothesized to have used its head like a battering ram to smash into its prey, causing massive internal damage to its target. It would then rip it apart and swallow it. Hainosaurus was used to killing fast or armored prey. Humans would be much easier for it to kill. Hainosaurus would take you out by slamming into you with its long conical snout. This would rupture your organs and break the majority of the bones in your body, killing you instantly. Then, Hainosaurus would bite you in half and devour you. Hainosaurus can't top Megalania, Leviathan, or Megalodon. It takes 4th place, pushing Basilosaurus to 5 and Titanoboa to 6. Now, it's halftime. If there's one thing River Monsters fans have learned from watching the show, it's that catfish love eating people. I present to you Khoratmus, a catfish that reached lengths close to lower sizes of the Piraiba. While the largest Piraiba catfish reach up to 12 feet long and over 1,300 pounds, Khoratmus was only around 6.5 feet long and 315 pounds. That's still very large, and easily large enough to kill a human. Any catfish 25 pounds or more is capable of preventing a human from making it back to the surface if it's latched onto their foot. Catfish have a tendency to kill humans, whether to swallow whole or rip to pieces. Khoratmus would have been no exception to this. It fed on fish, cephalopods, and primates. Khoratmus itself may have been prey for Basilosaurus. Khoratmus was an arid catfish, meaning it was related to the gaff-top sail catfish and the TTC catfish, both of which are so venomous that humans have died from touching their spines. This means Khoratmus could have been venomous too, as the majority of modern catfish are anyway. It was much larger than all of the modern arids, meaning more venom and larger fin spines. The name Khoratmus simply means catfish. Megalodon and Mosasaurus both reached lengths of up to 60 feet long. Megalodon weighed up to 200,000 pounds at its absolute maximum size, while Mosasaurus was estimated at anywhere from 40,000 to 172,000 pounds. At equal lengths, the Meg would easily win if no other factors are considered. It would have had a much bigger mouth proportionate to body size. However, scale them to equal weights, and Mosasaurus destroys Megalodon. If you take the most common weight estimated for Mosasaurus at 40,000 pounds and scale it to 200,000 pounds, you end up with a Mosasaurus around 100 feet long or larger. To make it more realistic, take a 40,000 pound Mosasaurus and scale down Megalodon to 40,000 pounds. This results in a 35 foot long or smaller Meg versus a 60 foot Mosasaurus. Remember, most Megs were only around 40 feet long when fully grown anyways. However, you have to keep in mind other factors. For instance, Megalodon had a bite force of 182,000 newtons, while Mosasaurus's bite force was only 70,000 newtons. That is a difference of 112,000 newtons. But this didn't help Megalodon win the fight, as first it would have to deliver a bite. Megalodon's top speed was 11 miles per hour. Mosasaurus, however, could maintain 30 and burst up to 40. To make this a fair fight, neither one can ambush. They're both 60 feet long, maximum size. They meet in the open ocean, both at eye level from each other. Neither can make the initial attack from below by surprise, or else the fight is no longer fair. Mosasaurus is 3 times as fast, meaning it is capable of moving in and attacking Megalodon's weak spots, and Megalodon can't do anything about it. Mosasaurus targets the fins of Megalodon. It bites them off one by one. First, it targets the tail. It maneuvers itself behind Megalodon and bursts forward, grabbing Megalodon's tail fin in its mouth, biting it clean off. Megalodon is now inhibited. Mosasaurus rockets into Megalodon's side and bites off a pectoral fin. Then, it grabs the other fin and does a death roll, resulting in Megalodon being flipped on its back. This puts Megalodon in a state of paralysis. Then, Mosasaurus could finish it off without Megalodon fighting back. In a fight with no surprise attacks, Mosasaurus easily wins. If Mosasaurus was swimming, Megalodon couldn't even catch up to it to make an attack. If Mosasaurus was taking a breath at the surface, however, that would be Megalodon's time to strike. But, since they didn't live at the same time, this wouldn't have been something that would happen in a real-life fight. Once again, to make it fair, Mosasaurus would have taken a breath immediately before the battle. In all reality, Mosasaurus destroys Megalodon in the fight. It is much faster, has agility on its side, and higher intelligence. Megalodon also has softer skin, meaning that Mosasaurus can damage it more easily. Mosasaurus could take out Megalodon before it could even recognize its attacker. Now, back to the finalists. Mosasaurus grew up to 60 feet long and weighed anywhere from 40,000 to 172,200 pounds, depending on method of weighing. Educated guesses put it at around 30,000 to 40,000 max, but an estimate of a scaled down mass to length ratio for a blue whale, which is an animal with a similar body plan, puts Mosasaurus at up to 172,200 pounds. Mosasaurus lived 82 to 66 million years ago, everywhere except for Australia. Mosasaurus was the world's most successful predator of all time, excluding humans. Scratch that, it was more successful than humans, considering it ruled the Earth for 22 million years, while we've only been around for 200,000 years. This beast ruled the oceans worldwide and was at the absolute top of the food chain, with everything else in existence at the time being inferior. With a bite force of over 70,000 newtons, Mosasaurus tops almost all other animals. Mosasaurus had a jaw function that allowed it to slide its bottom jaw forward, which would cut its prey in two. If its initial bite didn't finish off its prey, the sliding mechanism of its jaw would cut the prey animal's head off. Mosasaurus is warm-blooded, allowing it to move at high speeds to chase prey. Could Mosasaurus kill a T-Rex? Definitely. A T-Rex swimming across the western interior seaway would be an easy target for a Mosasaurus. The lizard from Mos would chomp down on the tyrant lizard king's leg, causing massive damage and crippling it. Then, Mosasaurus would drown Tyrannosaurus and eat it. In episode 7, I mentioned that Mosasaurus gave live birth. This was a hypothesis based on ichthyosaurs and the fact that a Mosasaurus would be awkward on land. Now, we know that Mosasaurus laid eggs. A fully grown Mosasaurus would have laid an egg larger than the elephant birds, based on the size of an 11-inch egg from a 33-foot mosasaur. This means that Mosasaurus wouldn't have been completely useless on land. Mosasaurus was basically Megalania, but much larger and aquatic. While it never had the chance to feed on humans, it definitely would if it was still around today. Mosasaurus steals the crown from Megalania and pushes it to number 2. Leviathan, Megalodon, Hainosaurus, Basilosaurus, and Titanoboa moved to 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, respectively. Up next, the terrible crocodile. Deinosuchus grew up to 40 to 45 feet long and weighed up to 20,000 pounds. It lived 82 to 73 million years ago in North America. Deinosuchus had massive conical teeth that were used for taking out dinosaurs, fish, turtles, and other large prey items. Tyrannosaur and hadrosaur bones have both been found with Deinosuchus bite marks in them. Deinosuchus waited at the water's edge, then lunged out towards prey. Its bite force of 102,000 newtons would crush the bones of its victims. If the prey wasn't killed by the bite, Deinosuchus would drown it, then rip it apart by initiating a death roll. Deinosuchus had strong scutes on its back that provided it with protection. Getting attacked by Deinosuchus would be brutal. It would snap you up in its 6-foot jaws and break your bones, then ragdoll you before you get swallowed. Deinosuchus was a seriously dangerous predator. It takes 5th, pushing Hainosaurus to 6th, Basilosaurus to 7th, and Titanoboa to 8th. Coming in hot, a speedy eugenodont. Edestus grew from 22 to 33 feet long and weighed up to 8,000 pounds. It lived 313 to 307 million years ago in the United Kingdom, Russia, and the United States. With a bite force of only 1,907 newtons, the scissor-toothed shark doesn't seem too dangerous. However, it's what lies in its mouth that makes it so deadly. While sharks generally have many rows of large, triangular teeth, Edestus had a single row of 12 serrated teeth on its top and bottom jaw that were centered in the middle of its mouth. These tooth whorls would have been seriously dangerous weapons that would have allowed Edestus to chop its prey in half while swimming at high speeds. This would have killed its prey very quickly. Edestus could take out an entire beach full of people in a few minutes. This would never happen, however, because Edestus would have no reason to, but hypothetically, it would be able to. Edestus takes 7th, pushing Basilosaurus to 8th and Titanoboa to 9th. Up next, a large pliosaur. Chronosaurus reached lengths of up to 36 feet long and weighed up to 26,600 pounds. It lived 120 to 100 million years ago in Australia. Chronosaurus had a skull over 9 feet long and teeth that were up to a foot long. With a bite force of 145,000 newtons, Chronosaurus could crush the bones of any prey item it came across. It fed on turtles, plesiosaurs, and cephalopods. Chronosaurus fed on larger prey items by twist feeding, meaning it bit down on its prey and spun its body around to tear off chunks of meat. Its 4 flippers allowed it to swim at a pace of 40 miles per hour for long distances to chase its prey. This meant that it was much faster than mosasaurs. Chronosaurus could easily eliminate a human by either eating you head-on or biting you in half from the side. Chronosaurus takes 6th, pushing Hainosaurus, Edestus, Basilosaurus, and Titanoboa to 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, respectively. Incoming, the feathered serpent god. Quetzalcoatlus had a wingspan of 40 feet and was 40 feet from tip of the beak to the tip of the tail while flying. It weighed 550 pounds. It lived 68 to 66 million years ago in North America. While standing upright, Quetzalcoatlus was 20 feet tall. When flying, it was 40 feet from the tip of its beak to the tip of its tail. It also had a 40-foot wingspan. Quetzalcoatlus was scary fast. It could reach speeds of 80 to 100 miles per hour while flying and 40 miles per hour while running on the ground. It could stay airborne for up to 10 days straight without needing to land. Its massive beak was over 7.5 feet long. It would use its beak to impale prey. It was capable of killing and eating dinosaurs. It's important to remember that Tyrannosaurus rex was not an unkillable god. Quetzalcoatlus was fully capable of taking out a T-Rex using its long beak to puncture something vital. Against a human, Quetzalcoatlus would easily win. It could chase you through the air or on the ground and catch you very quickly. From there, it would stab you with its beak, killing you pretty quickly. Quetzalcoatlus takes 7th, pushing Hainosaurus, Edestus, Basilosaurus, and Titanoboa to 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Mosasaurus still holds on to first, with Megalania in second. Once again, make way for Predator X. Pliosaurus reached lengths of up to 50 feet long and weighed up to 100,000 pounds. It lived 155 to 147 million years ago in Europe and South America. Predator X was the apex predator of its time. It had a 50-foot long body, 20% of which was its head. Its largest teeth were up to a foot long. It bit down with 145,000 newtons of force. It used its powerful bite and large teeth to kill plesiosaurs, other pliosaurs, ichthyosaurs, and even leadsichthys. Pliosaurus could swim at up to 40 miles per hour. It could easily overpower a human and make them its meal. Pliosaurus takes 6th, pushing Chronosaurus to 7th, Quetzalcoatlus to 8th, Hainosaurus to 9th, Edestus to 10th, Basilosaurus to 11th, and Titanoboa to 12th. Deinosuchus finishes in 5th, Megalodon in 4th, Leviathan in 3rd, and Megalania in 2nd. Mosasaurus wins our championship and takes the title as the most dangerous non-dinosaur prehistoric animal. Hope you enjoyed the show. Stick around for more. New 72 installments to be announced soon.
There's a theropod dinosaur called Osteoperosia, named after osteoporosis, which potentially grew as large as a Spinosaurus.
In each episode, we will rank the creatures from 1 to 6 on a scale of how potentially dangerous these creatures would be to humans, and the winner of each episode will showdown with the other 11 finalists in the season finale to decide on which prehistoric creature was the ultimate human killing machine.